Alright, welcome to part 2 of lecture R.6. We're going to talk about division by two-digit numbers. So in the part 1, we chatted about division by one-digit numbers. Now we're going to talk about two-digit numbers. So for example, 35 goes into 9,380. Now I've already worked it out, but it's the same type of process. Off to the side, I did some calculations of my times tables by 35. 35 times 1, 35 times 2, 35 times 3, all the way up to 8. Okay, so I have this little reference area that I'm going to reference every now and then. So 35 goes into 9. No, it doesn't. So we need to take another digit. So we're going to go to 93. 93 is larger than 35, so I must have some type of multiple over here in my table that I can get close to without going over of 93. And it's 70. So 35 times 2 is 70. I write the 2. 35 times 2 is 70. I subtract 93 and 70 and I get 23. I bring down the next digit in my dividend. Now, how many times does 35 go into 238? Again, I'm going to look at my table, and it looks like it's 6, because 245 is too much, so it goes in 6 times. 35 times 6, I write the 6 over the 8, because that's what I brought down, and it's 210. So now 238 minus 210, and that leaves me with 28. I bring down the next digit of the dividend, which is 0, and now I divide 35 into 280. Again, I look at my table. Ooh, 280, it's 8. I write the 8. 35 times 8 is 280. Subtract the 2, and it's 0. You can see how I got these numbers, 70, 210, and 280. It was 35 times 2, 35 times 6, and 35 times 8. So my final answer is 35 goes into 9,380 268 times. Now let me try another problem. Again, the process is going to be the same thing, but what I do like is building this little table off to the side, because I don't always know my times tables for the 18 or the 35. So 18 times 1 is 18, 18 times 2 is 36, and so on. And I kind of go until I think I need to stop, and then I might have to continue later on. But let's go with 18 go into 18 one time. 1 times 18 is 18. I take the difference. I'm left with 0. But I'm not done. I have to bring down the 7 from my dividend. That's my next digit. So 18 goes into 7 how many times? None. It's less. But I can't just skip it because it's 0 times. It's 0 times 18 is 0. 7 minus 0 is 7. Now I bring down the last number of my dividend is a 2. How many times does 18 go into 72? 4 times. 18 times 4 is 72. 72 minus 72 is 0. So my final answer is 1,872 divided by 18 equals 104. Now here are a couple problems that I want you to try out. So pause the video, work them out, and then once you're done, come back and then look at the solution. See if your solution maps with my solution. Alrighty, so I hope you paused and came back. Were these the solutions that you received? 432, 391, and 49. If you didn't, go back. You may want to rework it, try and match it up to what I've done here on the page. But again, it's the same process. 28 goes into 1. No, not big enough. 28 goes into 12. No, not big enough. 28 into 120 goes 4 times. 4 times 28 is 112. Take the difference, subtract the two numbers, 8. Bring down the next digit in the dividend. I've used up the 1, the 2, the 0. I bring down the 9. Okay. 89. How many times does 28 go into 89? 3 times. 3 times 28 is 84. The difference between 89 and 84 is 5. I bring down my next number in my dividend. 56. How many times does 28 go into 56? Twice. 2 times. So 2 times 28 is 56. 56 minus 56 is 0. And that's our solution. And you can work through the other problems, 2 problems here. I'm not going to work through them step by step, but you go ahead and do that. Alright, so the problems that we had before, and let me just scroll up a little bit, all of the end result down at the bottom after we were done with our process had a 0. We had nothing left over. It divided evenly into the numbers that we were given. So the divisor divided the dividend equally. 0 remainder. Now let's talk about division with remainder. It happens sometimes. For example, 5 divided by 2 is 2, which is 2 times 2 is 4, but I got 1 left over. I didn't have 0 left over, I had 1 left over. So let's take a problem and let's work it out. Let's try 67 divided into 1,690. Let's see what we get. So 67 doesn't go into the 1, doesn't go into the 6, so I'm going to do into 169. Goes in twice. 2 times 67 is 134. Subtract the 2. 169 minus 134 is 35. Bring down the 0. 67 times 5 is 335. 350 minus 335 is 15. There's not a 0 here, therefore there's a remainder. But how do we write it? Do we just leave it down there? It's just kind of dangling off into space here? No, there's a couple of ways to write it. One is 25, which is our quotient, r, meaning remainder, 15. Or we can leave it as a fraction. So it's the quotient 25 with the remainder over our divisor. Okay? So our quotient is 25, that's the top number. 15 is our remainder, which is what's left over down at the bottom of your process. And 67 is the divisor, which is the outside number. You have to get it in the right spots, otherwise it's going to be wrong. Here's another example. So let's divide 26 into 345. So you can see I've already done the math, but let's walk through it. 26 into 34 is 1. 1 times 26 is 26. 34 minus 26 is 8. Bring down the 5. 26 into 85 goes 3 times. 3 times 26 is 78. 85 minus 78 is 7. So our final answer is going to be 13R7 or 13,726. Alright, so let's apply division. A family has an annual income of $35,880. How much is their average monthly income? What that means is I need to divide it by 12 because there are 12 months in the year. If I work it out, this is a perfect example of long division. 12 goes into 35,880 2,990 times. So their monthly average income is $2,999. $990. Sorry, almost gave them a raise of $9. So the last thing I want to chat about in this video is division by 0. So 8 divided by 0, what is it? I mean, what number is it? It would mean 0 times something equals 8. But there's no value times 0 is going to equal 8. So we just leave it as undefined. We actually write the word undefined if we ever see we're dividing by 0. Now later on in math, in calculus, you'll start dividing by 0 in very special circumstances, but right now, let's just write the word undefined. So that's the end of this part of the video. So until another time, be seeing you.